sessions that I upload to a YouTube channel that I manage, is what we use for the example in this class. I will send that recording out as a recap shortly after this class ends. And that will also include a handful of step-by-step breakdowns of some of the things I went over as well. So feel free to, like I said, take notes if you'd like, but be aware that I'm going to send you all of this stuff as a recap for you to utilize and follow up with anyway. So feel free to just watch and try and absorb as much as you want. And again, put any questions you have in the chat. Otherwise, you can unmute at the end when I open up the floor, and we will take questions then. Before we dive in to the platform itself, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen back to this slide. I wanted to go over a handful of quick YouTube stats for 2020 that I think are super relevant right now in regards to, again, the larger part of the conversation we're having is YouTube. Just like any other platform you are bringing into your marketing strategy, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever that may be, and whatever you choose to add to that strategy, the underlying message is it needs to indeed be a part of that strategy. It isn't something that's thrown together over a weekend, and it's not something that you'll be able to manage if you approach it in that way. It's something that should be thought out and structured, just like any asset in your marketing strategy should be as a larger part of your business plan. YouTube is no different. YouTube has over 2 billion logged in monthly users. That, to put in that perspective, is up from 1.8 billion users only 2 years ago when this last was measured. So they've grown over 200 million users per month in the span of 2 years, which is fantastic. 70% of what people actually watch on YouTube is determined by its recommended algorithm system. So what that lets you know is people will watch something on YouTube, consumers will watch something on YouTube and are likely to then continue browsing YouTube using stuff that YouTube is handily adding to them, either in video or on the side stream that we're looking at. This means that, again, you want to think about this like you are any other part of your marketing arm. Consistency is key. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of my colleagues talk about that in several classes as well. You shouldn't be putting a plan into effect if you don't have an idea of how frequently you can be on that channel. There's nothing more harmful to your brand than a ton of links that lead to pages that haven't been updated in months or worse, years. And this is just a cool little snapshot I got from the beginning of the year. Pew Research study that was done through 2019 to look at YouTube compared to other social networking and online platforms and apps that are being used by adults. And 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4 of US adults who are following online platforms or use them on their cell phones are utilizing YouTube. This lets you know that YouTube is not only a widely used platform amongst adults, but it's one they're using on their mobile devices really frequently. Another cool takeaway here, again, some of these numbers you will have seen grown over the last few months as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. Instagram has continued to grow post its Facebook buyout and is trending upwards. Same with tools like WhatsApp and Messenger, which are also part of that Facebook family, have seen a tremendous amount of growth in the time when people are spending predominant amount of their days at home. Now, that's my last little slide I wanted to go through. Let's go ahead and talk about YouTube as a platform itself. I'm going to go ahead and open my browser and let's go to YouTube. Now, I've gone in without signing in. The first thing we want to talk about is YouTube itself. The platform has a series of videos. Now, I'm not signed in, but the second I have an account, the account is utilizing its algorithmic system to constantly recommend videos to you based on what you are constantly viewing. So again, what that means is you want to make content for this platform. Again, anything you make here can be utilized across your Instagram and Facebook channels. So there's a great level of consistency that can be had in your brand, but you always want to answer two questions. Is this feeding either the branch of my marketing that is relevant to my listing, sales, or buyers side? Or is it something that is community driven to try and establish myself as a figure in the area in which I operate? You're going to have two main lanes of advertising you want to think about. And then both of those are going to be ways to continually drive users and people searching about things in the area to your platform. So again, thinking about it as a strategy, that's how you'll be able to better leverage some of these little systems in your favor. Anybody that has a Gmail account has a YouTube channel and a YouTube account. Google owns YouTube. So again, when you think about the larger strategy in regards to search engine optimization, having a platform and a channel on YouTube is vital as a part of that because again, they're owned by the largest search engine operator. Few quick things. You got your menu bar along the left. Every consumer sees these. Your homepage, trending videos are things that are trending and getting lots of views per hour on YouTube. Subscriptions are channels that you can subscribe to, and we'll go over that when I get signed in. And then you've got some of the other breakdown factions. We're not going to go into those because they're not relevant to our discussion. Let's dive into YouTube accounts. Now, like I said, you can have everybody with a Google account has a YouTube account. Now, I created one for my channel that I obviously run, and it is a standard YouTube account because it's a standard Gmail account. What you guys want to create for your businesses is what is called a YouTube branded account. So when you're creating an account, you want to go to not an email for yourself, but one to manage your business. When you click on that, you can put your information here, where you can then create a email, something relevant to your business. I'm just typing gibberish in here, but you guys get the point. You would create an account for your business. Big emphasis here that none of this information has to be client facing. When you're setting up the actual YouTube channel, we will have your primary means of contact displayed. This is specifically an account to manage the YouTube channel. And the difference between a branded account that I am creating here versus a standard YouTube account is how you interact with those channels. So if we're looking at this slide here, we can see that when you create a brand account, you can have multiple channels managing the or managed by the one account. So if my channel and what a brand account lets you do is also give that channel a brand name or a business name in our case. By comparison, my standard account doesn't let me change the brand name of the channel at all. So my YouTube channel is just my name entered in the information for my Google profile, which is Anuj Chaudhary. So the channel is just called Anuj Chaudhary. But if I wanted it to be called CB Classes or Coldwell Banker California Classes, I would need to create a brand account, and then I would transfer ownership of my channel from that personal account to the brand account, so it then could be managed by an appropriate type of account. This channel, this type of account is what allows you to do that. It allows you to manage channels, and the other thing it allows you to do is delegate access to channels to other users. So, for example, if I worked as a part of a team of agents, or if I had a marketing individual that made videos as a part of my staff, and I wanted them to access my channel, I would not need to give them my account information to get in or out. I could delegate access by giving the additional user access to the brand account. Those are the only differences you have in regards to what that account will do for you. But it is important in the grand scheme of your business to have your account set up that way, because that way it accounts for any expansion that you may need to make. And it allows you to control the channel of the name to be the brand of your business or your business name and not just your first and last name. Moving on, once you have that account created, I am going to just go ahead and sign into mine. We can see what the platform looks like on its own. Now, obviously, once I'm signed in, the algorithm is kicking in, so it's recommending stuff based, again, on my YouTube algorithms. You can see channels that I've subscribed to. You've got your user menu bar, and again, every YouTube user has this because every YouTube user has a channel. It's just a matter of how you leverage it. You've got library, which is specific to you, your library of videos, the history of what you've watched, your videos, which is part of this recommended system, and then your likes and any playlists or things you've added to watch later that you've created. We're not going to focus too much on this menu because, again, it's not really too relevant to our overall conversation. But what we do want to do is immediately get into the stuff that you will dive into, and that is the actual Google account. I'm going to try and zoom in just a hair to make this a little bit bigger. All right. So when I click here, managing your Google account will allow you to edit things like your business hours, information, location, etc. So you always want to go in here and make sure that is correct, have an appropriate headshot uploaded, because again, that will forward to your channel. But the rest of the stuff we care about is going to be made available right here. When you click on your channel on this menu, it will take you to, like you can guess, your channel from the viewpoint of a consumer. The only difference between what your consumer sees and what you see is you see these two buttons here that are Customized Channel and YouTube Studio. We're going to cover the Customized Channel in just a second, but I want to talk about what should be presented on this page for your consumer. What you can see immediately is you've got who I am. Again, I can't change the name of my channel because it's not a brand account. But I've got my headshot here. I've got my name. You got the information of subscribers. And then immediately underneath, you can see my latest class, which is made available right here. Created playlists, which I have consolidated all of my Coldwell Banker classes I upload into one playlist, and then every single one of my uploads is right there. The layout to these channels aren't complicated at all. There isn't a whole ton that you can do. The ease you always want to think about here, or the thing I should say you want to think about, is ease. How easy is it for my consumer to get to what they need? In my case, my consumers are you guys, the agents. I've grouped all of my classes. You can see all of the videos I have, and you've got the most recent upload that I choose to put here. Now, there are two things, and when we get into the customized channel, there are two things you can edit in regards to what is that header video. You can have an option for returning subscribers, and that's what you will always see when you click on that your channel option. Will always default to being, if you're one of these people coming back to the channel, what are you going to see? But you can also you will also have the option to edit what the first thing consumers see if they're not subscribed to the channel, which gives you the option to talk about, a brand introduction. I'm going to use that brand talk to segue into your banner image. This is where you can take an opportunity again to reflect your business and your brand identity. Utilizing things like design concierge. They develop, if you've got a logo or if you've had them create a logo for you, they can make a banner for you for your social media channels. This should be the same as it is on your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your website, etc. You've got those handy links again right there, because much like any part of these pieces to your marketing arm, whether they be your LinkedIn or your YouTube or your Instagram, they are all made to capture and retain consumers with information, but eventually keep feeding them information to push that consumer towards your website, where they can hit the hub of everything that is available about your business, because that should be the most frequently updated channel. It is your hub for your business, and it's where consumers can then sign up to be on mailing lists from you, sign up for searches for you, sign up for any kind of thing for you, because that's your website. These are arms of that strategy to push people to that website. Videos that you upload to YouTube can be repurposed and utilized on your web page, can be included. If you're in my region, you get emails from me every Monday and Friday that have clickable videos in them. Those are all uploaded to my YouTube channel. That's how I leverage that channel as a part of a marketing strategy. You guys want to think the exact same way with this. And again, with the function being, how easy is it for my consumer to not only get the information I'm trying to give them, but remember whose channel that they are on. Now, I'm not an agent, but I have a branded image across all of my things, and this photo I took of the Bixby Bridge. Again, it's something I took. This way, I don't have to worry about violating any copyright infringement or things like that. If you obviously have your own branding and your own imagery, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Also, just the note I'm making here, don't grab an image off of Google and just put it here, because 9 out of 10 images are indeed copywritten, and the copyright holder will eventually come after you to either remove it, or in some kind of bigger case, it's just a kerfuffle you can avoid. I digress, moving on. The banner image is just editable by hitting that little button in the top right, that little camera image, and you can upload it just like you do anything anywhere on the internet. You can drag an image to it, or you can select one from your computer. I've obviously already got one uploaded. I'm going to select it to show you that in the uploader, it breaks down for you how you need to crop that image. So you want to keep in mind your branding should be focused dead center of this image, because as you can see, it appears slightly different on the desktop version that we are looking at now versus a television version, which shows you the full-scale image, versus the mobile version that shows you an even harder cropped version of the image itself. And the reason why I say have it dead center is, as you can see, the image is lined up to be dead center, and that mobile platform, as we can see, is what 3 out of 4 adults are utilizing to view YouTube on. So you should make sure your brand is as visible as it can be on the mobile platform, and it will be as visible as it needs to be on all of them. Once you have your image, you just hit select, and just like that, it is ready to go. The last of the things that we will go over before we actually start editing this stuff is just kind of how things are laid out. You've got the home page, which is obviously the home page. Videos will take you to the full list of everything that you have uploaded to the channel and made public, because obviously there are statuses for videos. We'll cover that in more detail in part 2. Playlists, again, will show you everything that you've made public and viewable. Channels will allow you to show anything that you have featured. Featured channels, I'm bouncing back to the home page, are viewed right here, and they are edited also here on the home page. Discussion is the part of the platform that allows it to be a little bit more social networky. If you were, let's say, holding a open house live and it was a Facebook Live event, this discussion page is where you can post that link to remind people to sign up for it as a part of the rest of your marketing strategy. So if the open house tour is happening on Facebook Live next Friday, we can make posts on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and our YouTube platform with that link on several occasions ahead of it to Remind every one of our consumers, regardless of where they are viewing our platform, that this is where you need to go to sign up for that event, and be on my website if you want to be on a mailing list to make sure you're getting this information more consistently. Again, making your marketing cyclical and feeding it all around your hub, which is that website where you can get all of your information to your consumers more readily and easily. That is the discussion section. And lastly, the about section. Just like it sounds like, it is where you can build the profile, where you should have your bio, something like you can get from Design Concierge. And again, our bios from that team are written to be conscious of things like keywords. Bios are almost 99%, conservatively speaking, or liberally speaking, I should say. Let's say conservatively speaking, 90% of all bios are written and read by consumers online. So you need to think about them in an online capacity. That being said, you want to make sure your bio is two things. It's full of the appropriate kind of keywords for our area so that web crawlers are able to grab a hold of them when people are searching for things like real estate in the county or in the state, as well as you need to make sure it is consistently made available on as many platforms as you can so it has a better ability to pop up in those places when people are searching for things. That is how you play that long game of marketing strategy online. So again, your bio should be here, and this is where you will link everything that shows up on this top bar here. The second we hit customize channel, all of the pages we were looking at will become editable, as you can see here. Now I can go in and click on that little pencil, paste my bio that I already have everywhere else here, and hit save. We want to have our business inquiries. Again, you don't have to use your Google email. This is where you can add in your business email and hit save. Put the appropriate location. And again, links, just like it is on the InTouch website. You can choose how many links you want to add. You can actually add as many as you would like, but only 5 will show up on the banner art. And again, big emphasis, don't add links to things that aren't a part of that marketing strategy. There's nothing more harmful to a brand than something that you are advertising that you use, but don't update because it plants the image that you are stretched too thin. Once you are done, you hit done, and you can move on. Again, you want to put in what the item is, so when you hover over it, it says Instagram, LinkedIn, or website. That's what you're adding here. You add the link on the right-hand side. If you need to delete anything, you click on the trash can. Other than that, when you're done, you can move on to the next thing. Discussion will allow you to edit posts that you have made. I don't have any posts, so there's nothing to edit. Channels will allow you to see channels you are featuring and you are subscribed to. This doesn't change any public information. If you want to change the channels that you're featuring, in the About section, you've got the featured channels bubble right here. You can remove the module entirely or you can edit it. All you have to do to feature a channel is paste the channel URL right here and click the add button. Playlists will allow you to manage the playlists of videos. Like for my example, I have got my Coldwell Banker classes video. And as you can see, I've got this one here with a lock. It is private. My liked videos, I don't want my consumers to be able to see because sometimes I'm getting ideas from them or whatever the case may be. If you don't want them floating around there, you can make things private. You'll see the statuses in a little bit more detail here in the videos section. You'll see some are a lock that is open, that's unlisted, and then the ones that are normal are public. The difference being public videos obviously are available to the public. Unlisted videos are available to only people that have the link to see the video. So like my unlisted Monday video is something that went to all of my agents in my region. You would only be able to watch this video if you got my email. Otherwise, it's not available to just find on YouTube. And private, obviously, is what it sounds like. Just like that playlist, it's only available for me, the user, to see. And lastly, the homepage is where you can edit the homepage. Again, that featured channel module is right here if you want to fuss with that. You've got your latest, your returning subscriber module that I can edit here to replace with my most recent class, which I have from a day ago. I'm going to save, or I can choose any specific video. I can add my heading. And just like that, it has been updated. If I didn't update that heading, it would have just been blank. That's important to note. I can delete this section entirely if I don't want it. But again, to make things easy for my consumers, I'm going to have that there. And then for new visitors, this is where you can have a channel trailer. If you're an agent, this is where you can have great things like community videos featured, something that talks about you, your location, your brand. This is a bigger conversation to have with your FMS. So I would reach out to them to talk about something like that. And lastly, you've got the 2 modules that I have. You can see here, if I hit add a section, you can add new modules. They are pre-made choices that you can add from these sections. So you can have things like playlists, other channels featured, your live videos, your upcoming streams, past streams, your uploads, etc. You can't just do whatever you want here. You've got a box that you can live in, and you can see the difference in layout when you've got a horizontal versus a vertical. And that's about it. Again, it's not rocket science here. You're just making things easy for your consumer. I don't want this section, so I'm going to hit cancel. I can move things up and down, and I can edit and change things if I'd like, or you can delete things if you'd like. And that's about it, guys. That's part 1. What I would love for you guys to do is dive into this, create your brand accounts, create your YouTube channels. Feel free to send me your links. And if you have any questions, do that, or reach out to your FMS and ask any questions for them if you'd like to do that as well. Part 2, we're going to dive into the actual YouTube studio, upload a video together, and talk about the back end of this in a little bit more detail. Now, I talked about brand accounts. I'm going to talk about that to close this real quick. In the YouTube settings, if you want to change ownership, like if I created a brand account to manage this channel, and I created a new email and a new account, if I wanted to change ownership, I'm just going to go to advanced settings and move the channel to a brand account. So with all that being said, I'm going to stop the screen share and go ahead and open up the floor to any questions. I will also check the, oh no, I was going in and out, it looks like. Couldn't hear most of the last part. And is that Pamela? Do you have any specific question I could jump in on, or where did it specifically cut out so I can kind of repeat some of that? All right. Well, while I wait for Pamela to bounce back, Cordic, I will send out a recap that will have a direct link to the recording of part 1, as well as it is made available. Like when you get to that link, it sends you to my YouTube channel. You can see everything else there as well. Like I said, today, guys, we were just focusing on what YouTube can be as a part of your marketing strategy and how to set it up to get that brand image kind of set and started to your account.
Hi.
Hello, question.
Well, I have a question. I'd like to sign up for the next classes, and I was late because of my deals ran late, trying to catch up on the webinars. But I wanted to ask, is this YouTube channel the branded thing through our Coldwell Banker, or it's actually on YouTube? I have to go sign up for that.
Correct.
So at least
YouTube is a third party. They're owned by Google. So
okay.
YouTube is and if you watch from the beginning, I'll send you the link in the recap. I talk about how this should be considered much like an Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or any other asset that is brought in as a part of your marketing strategy. It is something that has to be built into that strategy in a very similar way.
So I could do, if I had a listing, the Matterport video attached to a YouTube video?
No, so Matterports aren't videos. Matterports are virtual reality renderings. They aren't videos that you can like play through. If you had like in part 2, the example when I upload a video to the channel, if you buy listing concierge packages, you get television commercials that are uploaded.
Yeah.
Those are one of the first things I recommend agents kind of throw onto their channels as a
Okay.
way to help feed both SEO engagement with the channel. And again, it allows you to kind of build that first playlist of, here's television advertisements I run for your listings. And when it comes to being a part of your marketing strategy, right, those videos can then be used in things like listing presentations. They can be used across the board to represent your brand. And I'm one of those things, if you're in other classes of mine, you've heard me say the phrase, people hear with their eyes. If you can show people things, it resonates with them 1,000 times better. So instead of just talking about a television channel, a commercial, you can show it to them and just say, now let me talk about where this runs and the kind of eyeball numbers we have on it. Now I will do something similar for your listing, and let's move on now to the next thing that I do and kind of build it in as a larger part of that strategy.
So since you have several classes in this, it's a series.
It's 2 parts.
Just 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us might need 5 parts to get going on this. But so your next one is that
Friday.
You need to sign up Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday, available in Sales Pro, same bat time at 3:30. And so this one, as I noted, is just setting up the platform and having those bigger discussions to get your wheels turning on how do I bring this into my marketing strategy. And then part 2 on Friday, we'll be going over how to utilize the YouTube studio in regards to uploading things and how that back end operates and how the analytics operates and all of that.
Okay. So will this be in Sales Pro to be able to see this video, or if I give you my email address, you can send me the link?
No, if you're in the class, I have your email, and then I send the recap out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. There are a couple of more things I had pop up here. Okay, yeah, for those of you that are new to social media, I think it is important to think about these things like you would in any kind of traditional vein of advertising. Social media, links, and platforms are all assets that are part of a larger marketing strategy that are built, like I said, to drive people to your website, because that is the hub of where your business lives. Regardless of how long it takes to move that consumer from one channel to another, that's hard to gauge. But the end game of all of these platforms are to bring someone from that middle window of like a window shopper to someone who's actively engaging with your website on a regular basis for some kind of business opportunity.
So this could be a link from the YouTube channel we have, could be posted onto our website.
You can embed the videos.
Embed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of, like, once you have something like this into your strategy, you can leverage it across multiple platforms. Things like InTouch email blasts, your newsletters can incorporate videos, the Clients for Life. And if you're using YouTube as the platform to house these videos, it not only is now giving you a spot to leverage and utilize the videos elsewhere, but is also feeding the search engine optimization for Google, its parent company, to help make sure that you are visible in regards to an online footprint.
Okay, thank you.
How do you get the brand account started? The brand account is created, I go over that in the beginning of the video. So when you get the recap, watch the first 10 minutes, I cover it there. If there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.